fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Core Class Concept Art Decepticon Frenzy from the Transformers Studio series from Hasbro. This is from the movie Transformers Bumblebee, and although he was never actually seen in the movie, this is based off of concept art. We had Rumble previously, so now we have Frenzy to complete the pair. Some nice artwork here on the top of the card. You can see the figure inside the box here. There's no windows, so you can reach right in. He is just tied onto this piece of cardboard. Close-up of that same artwork here on the side, and then over here you have kind of like the concept image, you know, transitioning into the actually fully designed form, which I always think is kind of neat. I think that's kind of cool to see for the concept art boxes. And then here on the back, just some product shots of the robot mode and the rectangle mode, I guess we'll call it. The Soundwave from Bumblebee just has these little like rectangles. We've seen one for Rumble, Frenzy, Ravage. I think that was all we got. Unfortunately, that Soundwave is long since stored away, but I do have Rumble to do some comparisons, so we'll take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and get Frenzy out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Frenzy out of the packaging. If you've handled Rumble before, it's the exact same mold, so not really any surprises there. But some nice paint applications. I think the red and the gray here on the shoulder looks pretty good. Head sculpt looks good. It's a little simple, but I think the visor and the face mask there definitely works. A little bit of paint here on the chest, down here on the crotch area, a little bit here on the shins and the toes. Looking around on the back, pretty basic. You can see the two connection points there. We'll get there in a moment. But again, I mean, the same problems I had with the Rumble mold. This is the exact same mold, so I am bummed that he doesn't have any hands. It would have been nice if there was a way to have this piece like flip back and expose a hand, or at least mold hands into this section here so he could hold the weapons, because you have these two weapons, and I guess I'll show these off now. They are the exact same two weapons that came with Rumble, so nothing of a surprise there. And it looks like these connections are used when you use it in the transformation, but you have these tabs here, and it almost looks like you could pop this on here for him to utilize, but the giant pin joint there gets in the way. So there's not even a way for him to really use the weapons. Like, they're there only for the aesthetic of plugging them into the back. And that happens very simply. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, does look good and kind of completes Frenzy's look, in my opinion. Same for Rumble. They have to have those guns on the back. But it would be nice if he could hold them as well. I feel like that's something that it needs. He does have these Decepticon symbols on the ends of the pile drivers there, which again, look good, nice paint applications. But yeah, it's just, one, it's very tiny, you know, for the $10 price point. I would like a little bit more. I just think it's a little basic, but I think it looks good. Articulation wise, we have a ball joint for the head, so you can spin that side to side, look up a little bit, look down, just kind of, you know, moves around in there like that. You have the swivel here for the shoulder. You also have this kind of hinge, which is mostly for the transformation, but you can definitely utilize it in robot mode. The arms are pretty solid. Again, you see these two giant pins here. It's because they have joints where these all just fold up and collapse for the transformation, which we'll see in a moment. But as a result, there's really no articulation in the rest of the arm. You have an ab crunch, which is again mostly for transformation, but you can utilize it here in robot mode. You have a hinge for the hip, which is really tight on mine, but good range of motion out to the side there. You also have a swivel so you can kick really far forward, really far back. You have a ball joint here at the knee, so good range of motion there. And then for the toe, you can kind of flip it up and down. It's really for transformation. There's no side-to-side hinge or anything like that. He's just kind of too small. So, aesthetically, I think he looks cool. Definitely some problems with the mold, in my opinion. And, but, you know, nothing new. The same problems I had with Rumble I have here with Frenzy. I really wish he had some molded hands so that he could hold the guns, or if they had a way to clip them onto the side of the hand or something like that. Maybe just like a little peg hole here on the side. You can peg them in. Just something, because otherwise they kind of just have to stay on the back and don't really serve any other kind of purpose. But as promised, here is Rumble, so you can have the two together. And it is cool to see the two together, honestly. I think this mold looks good in both color schemes. Looks really sharp in the black and red, but I like the blue as well. It's just a shame that it, you know, doesn't do much else. The pile drivers aren't really long enough to hit the ground. I mean, you can kind of, if you have them bend like all the way down, and the ab crunch helps, but you'd still have to really like get him to like be bent over at the knees, and then he kind of barely touches the ground. It just would have been nice if there was something there. Maybe these parts could extend out or something like that, but because of the way this has to fold up, it's not really possible. But if these were straight, then maybe you could have had a piece where like this could extend out and telescope back in, something like that. So, not perfect, not terrible. Feels a little small for $10. But again, I feel like this is everything I said with the Rumble mold, because again, it's exactly the same. It's just a color swap. That's really all it is. There's really no molded differences. Nothing's been changed. It's just a color swap. Transformation is really simple. We're going to start off by just removing the two guns here on the back. And just put them off to the side for the moment. We're going to take the arms and utilize both of those pin joints to just collapse them on themselves, and they will peg in like that. Do the same thing over here. Done and done. Then you're going to bring this up. You want the bottom of the pile driver to face the bottom, or what will be the bottom, so like that. And then just bring these up along the side of the head here, like so. Then you're going to take those feet and fold them into the shin, and they will peg in. Then you're going to open them up a little bit so that you can put the guns in here. So you're going to take the circle joint there on the side of the gun and peg that into this peg. And you want the I guess I'd call it handle of the gun, even though you can't hold it, to face upward. And then for this one, you want the handle to face downward, because otherwise they're not going to fit. And you can see that rectangular slot right there, which is going to peg on right there. So just pop that on there, and then bring the other leg in to peg it into the other side, and connect that all together. And then you're just going to bend at that waist joint, ab crunch, and then just kind of slide this in. Have I done this upside down? I have. I've done it upside down. I'm sorry. You want the pile driver to face up. That's my mistake. I was wondering why it didn't feel like it was really getting in there. But then basically you can see the plastic of the joint is going to kind of sit in these little recessed wells right there. There we go. And there you go. There is your rectangle ready for Soundwave's chest. Technically, if you want to spin the head around, you can. It doesn't really make a difference, but yeah, there is the rectangle all ready to go. So at the end of the day, if you didn't like Rumble, you're not going to like Frenzy. It's the exact same mold, just with a different color scheme, which of course makes sense for Rumble and Frenzy. They've always been little partners, always done from the same mold, and I don't really have a problem with that aspect of it. It's just that, you know, for $10, it feels a little small. It kind of just feels like a little bit larger Micromaster, honestly, and $10 just seems a little overpriced. Not ridiculously overpriced, but I feel like they could have thrown something else in. But again, most of the problems I have with the mold I talked about back with Rumble. I wish he had molded in hands. I wish he could utilize the guns by holding them in some fashion instead of just having them on the back. I'm glad they're included because I do think they complete the look, and I like them attached to the back. I just wish they had a little bit more functionality than that. But yeah, I mean, I bought this because I wanted to have the pair with Rumble. I think they look better together than singly. So if you missed out on Rumble, I'd say this is probably an easy pass. But if you like to have the two of them together and just kind of, you know, beef out the rest of Bumblebee Soundwave's forces, I think it's nice to have for a display. You know, maybe wait for a sale if you can find one. I kind of feel like this is one of those things that's going to kind of blip and be gone because I don't think there's going to be a lot of demand for this. I could be wrong. I got mine from Amazon. It was $9.99. I haven't seen it in store yet, so I would assume it'll be popping up sometime soon. But also kind of with the rumors that Core Class is just kind of going away. I know it's going away for, like, the Legacy line. I don't know if that's also including Studio Series, if they're trying to get out of the Core Class game. I guess only time will tell if it's across the board, but I kind of think this is one of those ones that might be being released kind of towards the end of the run for this size class, and so it might be a little difficult. So if you want it, I would say buy it now, because honestly, how much cheaper would it probably get? Maybe $750, something like that. And if you miss it and it becomes hard to find, you know, you're going to wish you just paid the $2. I mean, so like I said, if you didn't get Rumble, I think this is an easy pass. If you want this guy to complete the duo, go ahead and grab it when you can. But for $10, it feels like they could have done a little bit more. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.